Welcome to my revolution. I want to discuss with everyone the dynamics of my national anti-gun violence initiative that have provisions of law enacted within all 50 states of America in order to officially begin prosecuting mass shootings and mass killings as an act of terrorism, as an effective social deterrent against the commissions of these deadly forms of violence. I am currently in the process of having these anti-gun violence policies submitted before quite a few state legislatures. I've also mailed a copy of the New York versions of the bill to the New York State Governor's Office. To begin, whether we like it or not, the United States of America is notoriously known worldwide for its seemingly uncontrollable levels of rampant gun violence. Last year, in 2025 alone, over 400 mass shootings occurred across America. There's only a total of 365 days in any given year. So for any nation to consistently experience any number of mass shootings that completely outnumbers the total number of days that we have in a year is alarming. Statistically, we're talking about a minimum of one mass shooting occurring per day across America. The perpetrators of mass shootings are typically a blend of legal gun owners and illegal gun owners, as well as foreign nationals. Our legislators have been cracking down relentlessly on ways to restrict who can and who cannot legally purchase firearms within America. These policies are often called red flag laws that primarily prioritize rigorous background checks. My position with respect to the legal processes of becoming a firearm owner is that these processes should institute and require higher levels of firearm education throughout the permit and license process. My view is that if we have more educated gun owners in America, it becomes way less likely that those legally educated gun owners will impulsively misuse their legal firearms. For example, any person seeking to purchase a legal firearm should be required to pass enhanced gun owner education tests to where they are legally required to be well-versed in state laws, federal laws, and controlling Supreme Court rulings surrounding their legal gun ownership. This foreknowledge would then make it less likely that a legal gun owner would accidentally or impulsively misuse and miscarry their legal firearms under questionable circumstances. However, these higher education policies and red flag laws only target legal firearm owners. Now, what about the illegal firearms that are relentlessly flowing throughout our communities on any given day? What's the deterrent for the unlawful use and possessions of those illegal firearms? These background check policies do absolutely nothing to deter illegal firearms from getting into the hands of people who aren't supposed to have them. I know this through experience. However, gun buyback programs and innovative smart technology are all possible solutions to these problems. In any event, as a way for me to personally join the national fight against rampant levels of gun violence in America, I decided to focus on the most severe forms of gun violence, which is mass shootings. And as we all know and understand all too well, a mass shooting is defined as an episode of gun violence that results in the bodily injury or death of at least 4 people during the commission of the offense. Conversationally, we all acknowledge and continuously agree that mass shootings are equivalent to acts of terrorism. However, none of our national laws actually label or legally prosecute mass shootings as an act of terrorism. So I've decided to achieve this objective through my own policy proposals. Under my policy proposals, all mass shootings that intentionally cause the death of 3 more people will be prosecuted as an act of terrorism, as a way to brutally punish severe acts of senseless gun violence, and as a way to deter would-be perpetrators from carrying out mass shootings due to legal threat and fear of being labeled a terrorist for doing so. I've been trapped within this criminal justice system for over 17 years of my life and fully understand the inner mechanisms of how the mindsets of criminals work. I understand how they think because I used to live their lifestyle. I used to be one of them once upon a time. So I can honestly tell you through firsthand experience that street dudes who shoot multiple victims feel a sense of pride in doing so because they earn the title of being labeled a so-called shooter in the streets, which further boosts their reputation amongst fellow criminals and gang members. But one thing that I have never heard any person of prison idolize is a terrorist. And this is because absolutely no one wants to be called a terrorist, not even the most hardened gangsters. And I say this to tell you for a solid fact that by beginning to legally prosecute mass shootings as an act of terrorism, just the fear of being labeled a terrorist alone is going to play a drastic role in instantly deterring and reducing these sorts of crimes from occurring within our nation. I can just about swear to it because now all of these street dudes now have to pause in in order to consciously absorb the raw fact that if you happen to belong to some group, gang, or organization, once one single person impulsively commits a crime that squarely fits the bill to be labeled an act of terrorism, your entire group, gang, or organization can now legally be labeled a terrorist organization for ruthlessly carrying out mass shootings. And that's not what we need within our communities. We need more safe environments for our families and kids. And I'm a proud father of a 13-year-old young man, so these harsh realities continuously hit home every time I hear about someone's child being struck and killed by a stray bullet, or some innocent woman, man, or child in the crowd being mowed down by reckless gun violence. And one of the most absurd things about gun violence is that most people who actively engage in gun violence usually run around advocating against gun violence at the same damn time that they're actually indulging in it. So it's more than clear that even street dudes who engage in these sort of crimes fully understand that it needs to stop. We all just need to find better ways to resolve our conflicts through distance or dialogue as opposed to through dead bodies. And for any of you brothers who are listening to this, man, respect the movement and the peaceful transitions that we're looking to create for our communities and our kids' futures. Find a way to adapt and meaningfully contribute to the demands of societal change so that we can all effectively contribute to generational growth and longevity of life. No one life is greater than another. We are all equally human. We all feel pain and bleed the same way for the same reasons. Conflicts come and go, but a life can never be restored once it is lost. It's on us to recognize the value in other people's lives to the same degree that we see value in our own lives. Once we find realistic ways to balance these ideals, I think that will become the moment when we will all be able to live at higher levels of peace with each other. In the end, some people may absorb my wisdom with open minds while others may reject it. However, no levels of adversity will disturb my purpose or my peaceful objectives. This is who I am, and I consciously refuse to change unless it's for a greater purpose. However, I do honestly hope that my message eventually generates enough power to change the hearts and minds of people who may one day find themselves on the brink of making the wrong decisions, especially when it pertains to gun violence. If this statement can be found to be true for one moment in one person's life, then I would be forever grateful that my message was able to resonate and positively alter the reality of someone else's life, even as I myself consistently seek to correct and redeem some of my own wrongs from within this New York State prison cell. With this, I close. Peace.